Throughout human history, societies have grappled with a fundamental question: what is the appropriate response to wrongdoing? From ancient rituals to modern supermax prisons, the methods of punishment have evolved, reflecting the changing values, fears, and philosophies of the time. This journey into the heart of punishment is not just a story of crime and consequence. It's a story about power, control, and the very definition of justice. What drives us to punish? Is it a desire for retribution, a need for deterrence, or a hope for rehabilitation? The answers are as complex and varied as humanity itself. Let's travel back in time to a world where justice was a public spectacle. In ancient Rome, the Colosseum wasn't just for gladiatorial combat. It was a stage for executions designed to entertain and terrify the masses. The message was clear and brutal: defy the state, and this will be your fate. This principle of public punishment was a common thread through many early civilizations. In medieval Europe, the stocks and the pillory were fixtures in town squares. Humiliation was the weapon of choice. Offenders were subjected to public scorn, pelted with rotten food and insults. It was a form of social death, a warning to all who witnessed it. These punishments weren't just about the individual, they were about reinforcing the social order. The fear they instilled was a powerful tool for control, a constant reminder of the consequences of stepping out of line. The Enlightenment brought a seismic shift in thinking. Philosophers like Cesare Beccaria began to question the cruelty and ineffectiveness of these brutal methods. They argued for punishments that were rational, proportionate, and most importantly, humane. This intellectual revolution gave birth to a new and radical idea: the prison. The penitentiary, as its name suggests, was conceived as a place for penitence, for reflection and reform. The Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, for example, was built on the principle of solitary confinement. The theory was that in isolation, away from corrupting influences, an inmate would reflect on their crimes, find remorse, and emerge a changed person. It was a grand, optimistic experiment, but the reality was often far from the ideal. The profound psychological toll of total isolation became devastatingly clear. Instead of fostering penitence, it often led to severe mental breakdowns. The utopia of reform quickly revealed its dystopian underbelly. As we moved into the 20th and 21st centuries, the debate over the purpose of punishment intensified. The focus shifted between rehabilitation, retribution, and deterrence. In some parts of the world, particularly Scandinavia, a different model emerged. These systems prioritize rehabilitation above all else. Prisons are designed to mimic life on the outside as much as possible, with a focus on education, vocational training, and therapy. The goal isn't to make inmates suffer, it's to equip them with the tools they need to reintegrate into society as productive citizens. The recidivism rates in these countries are among the lowest in the world, suggesting that this approach has significant merit. It challenges the very notion that punishment must be painful to be effective. It proposes that healing, not hurting, is the true path to a safer society. Contrast this with the tough-on-crime era that swept through nations like the United States. This philosophy championed retribution. The idea was that those who cause harm should suffer in return. This led to mandatory minimum sentences, 3 strikes laws, and a massive expansion of the prison population. The focus was on warehousing individuals, on removing them from society. While this approach may satisfy a public desire for vengeance, its effectiveness is highly debatable. High rates of recidivism and the immense financial and social costs of mass incarceration have led many to question whether this retributive model truly serves the cause of justice or simply perpetuates a cycle of harm. Today, we stand at a crossroads. We are armed with centuries of data and experience, yet we remain deeply divided on the best path forward. Technology is introducing new and complex questions. Electronic monitoring, predictive policing algorithms, and new forms of surveillance are changing the landscape of crime and punishment. Can an algorithm be truly just? Does constant surveillance infringe on fundamental human rights? These are not questions for the distant future. They are challenges we face right now. The ethical implications of these technologies are profound, and we must navigate them with extreme care. The history of punishment is a mirror reflecting our own evolving understanding of humanity. It shows us our capacity for both cruelty and compassion, for vengeance and for forgiveness. The methods we choose say less about the criminals and more about us as a society. Do we seek to break people, or do we seek to mend them? Do we prioritize vengeance, or do we invest in restoration? There are no easy answers. Each approach carries its own set of consequences, its own vision of what a just world looks like. As we continue this conversation, one thing is certain. The quest for a just and effective system of punishment is a journey that is far from over. Thank you for watching. If this story sparked your curiosity, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the conversation in the comments below.